Okay, here we go. Begins in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to There Will Be Dungeons, Session 16. It's Saturday, May 19th, 2018. I usually don't say the date because these are evergreen episodes, but that's okay. Once in a while, you got to give us a point of reference. I'm Scott Johnson. We have with us Bo, John, Kristen, and Kyle. And we're here for Session 16. Before we get started, an email, if you will. We get emails at the website over there at therewillbedungeons.com. Just click on the contact link, send us your message. We'd be happy to read it on the show. And we get messages like this one from Dave, whose subject says, "What?" And then his message says, "I just laughed for 10 minutes straight. My wife asked my toddler a question, and he turned around and simply replied, 'What?' It sounded exactly like the Cyclops, and I almost died. Thanks for all the laughs, Dave." Well, Dave, we're happy to bring you the laughter that only a true Cyclops can bring. I hope your son skipped all the part where we dug around in his pants. All right. Bo, your video went... Oh, there you are. Anyway, thank you for that. If you want to send your emails in, please do, or follow us and send us messages on Twitter at ThereBeDungeons on Twitter, or ThereWillBeDungeons.com is the website. All right, Bo Schwartz, DM extraordinaire. The wheel is yours.
He's muted again.
He's muted again.
Right. I was typing. I didn't want it to... Anyways, previously on There Will Be Dungeons. Our heroes Hope, Stanley, Nash, and Varel. What did they do?
What did they do?
Where do we leave off? Well, there was a man named Tylander Sullivan, and they were trapped in his basement. They fell victim to several traps, in fact. And then they came face to face with this man that they've only ever known as the stealer of the shiny, Tylander Sullivan. Tylander made several attempts to negotiate with them for the return of a shiny. In fact, a necklace of fireballs that Nash had grown quite fond of, and they refused to give it back. So Tylander left them to their own devices with these undead, spiky dudes in a basement. Our heroes got anxious and found a creative way to escape by enlarging Varel, tearing a hole in the basement of a house and escaping. But they weren't able to catch up with Tylander to stop him from his nefarious plan of turning Orp, the giant Cyclops who wandered into town that morning, against them. Stanley, in particular, found a way to talk Orp into believing that Tylander was in fact the bad guy, and they were just winning the Cyclops over when Tylander decided to stick his hand in the giant's ear, because he was riding on his shoulder, and shock him into unconsciousness. Nash was primarily concerned with... I'm just forming my sentence.
No, that's
Nash
fine. I was worried. I was going to say, if you don't want to talk about me digging around his pants, it's fine, but go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, Nash was primarily concerned at this time with the necklace, which they had returned to Orp as part of the negotiation, and Orp had put into his loincloth. Nash wandered into a dark, cavernous crevice between his thigh and his scrotum in his pants to search for said necklace, and found it in a little crevasse inside, and ended up getting peed on.
Yeah.
Hope, who got scary again, when their eyes went black, and Varel went to go chase after Tylander, who was hiding in Orp's hair, and easily found him and dispatched him viciously by stuffing sand in his mouth and taking turns punching him in the head till he died. They realized that they hadn't gotten much information out of him. A little later, when the Koromu Kishi representatives, Lady Saltbubble and Sir Chickenfinger, came to thank them for killing Tylander, a known enemy of the principal's efforts here in Slave Town, and they realized they may have made a mistake. But maybe not. After spending some time trying to wake up Orp, they decided to camp out a little bit and give him time to have his nap, like a certain dungeon master today. And after he woke up, Orp was very concerned about getting his shiny back and was also hungry. Nash saw no other choice but to give him back his shiny that he had stolen from him not an hour earlier, and had suffered getting peed on and having to sit in this very disgusting place. So then the Orp was hungry, and we had to try and figure out what to do with Orp. How do we feed him? Stanley seemed less concerned about that and was grateful that Varel had taken up the cause to keep the Cyclops entertained, and offered to guide him out on a hunt in the desert. They were joined by Nash. Meanwhile, Stanley and Hope decided to return to the town to find out more about Tylander by rummaging through his house. And that's where we left it.
Wow. That was...
The adventure continues this week.
It does.
There will be dungeons.
One thing you didn't mention, which I'll get to in a second, but before I do, we could probably have a big finish here, so let's do that real fast. All right, is that not only did Gorp get his necklace back, but he promptly put it back in his pants where I went to get it in the freaking first place. Oh, that was the worst. Anyway. That's all I gotta say.
What did you expect?
I don't know. I thought he was dead. This is some good explanation, by the way, from last week. I thought he was going to die. I'm legit
curious. I want to know what was running through your head when you decided to go in the first place. Like, you given it back to him, and then and you were like, "I'm going to take it back."
No, this is good. I'm glad you're asking, and this is a good opportunity to explain this, because some people didn't seem to understand what I was up to. I really thought I was making a huge sacrifice for the team, because in my head, I'm thinking that necklace means something more than just it's Gorp's favorite stupid shiny. There's got to be some other need for this. So if he's laying there dead and we're about to fight somebody or there's going to be other problems, I need to get that out of here so we have it and it doesn't end up just staying there. Maybe I still have PTSD from not getting the staff that we left underground when we left the two shorty boys in there. So maybe that's it. But either way, I was like, we got to get it. I got to make a sacrifice. I got to do it. And so I did. But just the idea that it got put back in his pants, like back in the place that it was, is the worst. It's like getting your baseball out of the yard from the guy with a giant dog and then immediately throwing the ball back into the yard where the giant dog is.
Yeah. That's what it looks like on the outside. I think we do get it after all.
Great. Wonderful. All right. Sorry, continue on. You're in charge now. So where we last left off, you guys were both walking into your respective sunsets, as I sort of accurately described. But Stanley and Hope were making their way back to town. The only thing I remember was that Stanley was in particular interested in books that Tylander might have had in that basement ritual. What did we call it last week? A manipulation room? No. The mutilation room. Oh.
That there might have been something in the mutilation room. And that, Varel, if I'm not mistaken, you were interested in helping Orp be fed and take him on a hunt, almost to do something special. But I wasn't clear if the intent was out of friendship or more out of managing a great danger. But two of the party have not joined you, but Nash has. And I don't know where you were headed or what your plan was. So you're walking into the desert in a random direction, unless you specify otherwise for the moment.
Yeah, I thought we're north of town, right?
We would be north of town, yes.
On the map, there's a slave town that looks like a little town, and then there's some sort of huge farmland. Is that part of Slave Town, or is that a different area many miles out?
You mean to the west?
Yeah, the northeast.
Let me open up the map here, but I believe what you're referring to would be the Salivating Fields. Let's see, but it's not marked as such on the map. Just getting it open now. So there's it sort of encompasses it as drawn on the map. That wouldn't be it. Let's ignore that. That's just I made the terrain look interesting. To the never eat shredded wheat. To the west would be the Salivating Fields, which you haven't seen, so I can't describe to you. I haven't asked anybody what it is.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So we're nowhere near.
You're an open desert, and there's a mountain range to the. You can see it, a mountain range to the north and to the east, well off into the distance, presumably labeled as the Dead Fingers on the, what is it, word paper that you saw?
Yeah, yeah. My like fast travel kind of plan would be to drop off Orb at the esophageal pass, but that is many days travel. Yeah.
Yeah, so every hex, I believe, is it 60 miles or 120 miles? Mark?
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, so it's a journey. Otherwise, you know, if you're just looking for a local hunt, we don't really need to refer to the map for travel necessarily.
Okay, let me do a survivability to even see what this guy would eat in the wild, or if he just sustains on humans.
Okay, so it's an examination of his species. Okay,
Yeah,
so
just like what I know about something of this size. And
well, you haven't encountered a being of a human of this size. This is a new experience for you, but you know, being rather large in comparison to others yourself, that it's probably got a voracious appetite and would eat. It would eat humans. It would eat probably you, but it doesn't appear to be interested in you. That you've noticed that it hasn't. Like maybe you don't look appetizing, because the softer creatures tend to like meaty creatures, and lizards tend to, you know, they tend to be have that sort of racism where large creatures don't tend to look at you as food. And
scales.
also,
I don't think that's racist.
yeah. Well, you know, you have meat under there. You are delectable.
Race against water chestnuts, then.
Pretty much, but you know, it doesn't. You don't get the feeling that it views you as food. Although, if he ever decided to try you, that would be bad.
Okay.
As one would imagine.
Yeah.
So we're walking. I assume he is close to us, but probably can't overhear a conversation, being 60 feet above us and thunderously footing about.
It's true. If you keep your voice down, probably he won't hear you.
All right, then I will lean over to Nash and go, Nash, it is my pleasure to be joining you on our first buddy mission, but I'm afraid I have no idea where we're going.
Well, don't look at me. I have zero idea of where we're going. But I also look forward to our first quest together, and I apologize for the smell that must surely surround me.
It is no different than your normal smell.
Well, shit.
His smell to you being, and you can explain your culture probably better than I can, but you know, he's been peed on, so he's now the property of the Cyclops.
Oh. Would the lizard?
I mean, it depends on lizard culture, but you know, pee is often used by animals to mark territory.
Right.
Wasn't but there's a prestidigitation, or did we leave the smell?
So the prestidigitation, like he needs like a full day of it. It was an ocean of pee that he got blasted with. So I mean, like you can smell it. Like probably a normal human with dull sense of smell might say, "Oh, he stinks," but it's strong. It's pungent to you with a.
But doesn't okay? Well, then I'll role play the question. I'll say, Varel, I apologize, but is this offensive to you, or is this like, you know, dogs smell the pee of other creatures all the time and it doesn't seem to bother them? It just gives them information. I would like to know more about how your people handle this sort of thing.
Well, you are thoroughly marked, but this is a fantastic addition to the normal life we've been leading. The city is more frustrating, full of different smells, and everybody has their own unique one. Right now, it is just ogre and, ogre, really.
Well, fantastic. Then I'm pleased to be on this adventure with you, and I really could use a break from Stanley, if I'm being honest.
Yes, it seems we have complicated our mission quite a bit since arriving in town. I do not understand the inner workings of a car, but I understand it takes time, and that is prolonging our engagement in Slave Town. You, Nash, have a fascinating history, but I believe like me, you wish to see this place burn.
Yes. I'd like to see the whole entire place burn to the ground. There's nothing I want more than all slavery in every town abolished, especially a town literally called Slave Town.
A noble goal. I find comfort in that thought. My brain works at a new plan, though Stanley and Hope are not here to agree to it. Perhaps we give the giant a time to return to town, and thus hurry along our fellows.
Do you think he can handle such a task?
The town? No, I think it'll be destroyed if Gorp goes there, but that is very much my plan. We return saying you have 2 days to fix a car and impregnate the woman, and we simply move on.
I don't have any problem with most of this plan. I'm a little confused about the impregnation. Do you want to explain that? Who's getting pregnant?
It seems that we are settling down for Stanley and his extended stay.
So you think maybe he's
Fathering children, yes.
okay, all right. Well, in that case, sure, but I'm not sure Gorp can understand a request like, hey, in 2 days, or whatever timeline we give him to go to town, that he'll understand, A, the timeline, and B, be able to carry the message in a way that makes sense to them so everybody's clear on the plan. This is Gorp we're talking about.
Yes, I fear one day, one sunrise is about as complicated of instructions we can give. 2 sunrises will likely be forgotten. My other brain thought is that we let him loose on the Esophageal Pass, the main trade route to the Principal and the Kuromukishi, and buy us some time, though ultimately an unknown amount of time with very, very angry results.
Well, if we're not implicated, I'm all for this. Can we trick Gorp into doing that without pointing the finger at us if he's stopped or somehow controlled and interrogated?
Perhaps over the hills lies a vast hunting gorge, and you may eat your fill there. But then we run back to town because surely in several days, someone very angry about this plan will come say there's a giant feasting on our main trade route, and will look at us because we said we would take care of the giant.
I think this is fantastic. I wish the other two were here to raise their hands, but I have a feeling they'd be into this idea.
Yes, as fellow humanoids, you think that our 2 companions would enjoy this idea?
I do. I think. I'm not entirely sure. If they say no, I'll we can. It's better to ask for forgiveness, right? Isn't that how the old saying goes?
Is it?
Well, for my people, it is. You say, wouldn't you rather ask forgiveness than permission? And then you do a thing because you feel right about it. So even if it all goes south, then all you have to do is ask for forgiveness. And in this world, forgiveness could mean just, we part ways or somebody gets killed. But what's the difference?
Battle in a cage and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, I see the logic in this. There's one more thing I request of you, friend Nash. I am having difficulty identifying your abilities. What is it you do? And how?
Well, I mean, you've seen me hurl fire. You've seen me conjure earthquakes. You've seen me...
I missed that one.
Oh, that's right. I mean, never mind about that one. Forget about that one.
You can do an earthquake. That is phenomenal.
Yeah, not that you've...
Why are we burning the town when we could simply bury it?
Well, I don't know that listen, there are limitations.
Oh.
I can't go forever. I can't shake the entire planet. Or as you would know it, I can't shake the entire land with one...
I'm familiar with the planet. It's okay.
Okay. You never know with the lizard people, is all I'm saying. No offense.
Is this a result of your time in the angry place?
The solar mines.
Yes.
Yeah. You want
Now, I mean no offense, but surely I have seen on the map that that place is not far. Would it be possible to power you up with another visit and bring you back?
I swore I'd go back there and destroy that place. I don't know that I could gain any more power there than I can here. But one day, with your help or not, I will see that place destroyed.
Sounds like a fantastic spectacle, and I wish to witness it.
Well, good. You can totally come along. I could use a lizard there. It's a serious shithole. Everybody sucks. It's a terrible place to be, and I want to lay waste to everyone with a couple of people in specific. We're not going to be able to do this for a while, but I would gladly count you as one of my companions if you ever wanted to help me wipe that slate clean.
And I'll clap you on the shoulder. That is the truest statement I have ever heard from a human, and the most relatable. I, too, wish to burn a town and destroy certain individuals inside of it, while being unknown about the results of such actions.
And then I go, ow, that freaking hurt. And then that's all I have to say to him. But I'm excited because, listen, if I can go back to those solar mines with more muscle than I've got of my own, better chance I have of taking that place from this world and having it never happen again.
So then we were in agreement. We shall instruct Gorp to hunt the esophageal pass for the many delicious beings that drive their automobiles along it.
Yes.
And damn the consequences, as they say.
He should be stoked.
Gorp! I call up to him.
You just don't hear anything. He seems to be intent on walking. Doesn't hear you, perhaps.
Oh, is he still walking?
Book it around to the front and start running backwards and waving my arms. Gorp!
He sort of slows his walk, and his eyes squints at you. Lizard!
Gorp! I want to tell you things!
What?
To tell you things about the hunt!
And so he crouches down a little bit on his knees and puts his hand on his knees and sort of in a crouching position, leans over, and his one eye squints at you. He's got this, he makes his mouth in a scrunchy, like, what is it?
Gorp?
Are we there yet?
Almost. Gorp, I've reached a decision. It's
what?
that you love to eat humans.
I like men's.
Yes, mans. I know a hunting trail of many mans where you could live happily for a long time.
Go on.
Though beyond those mountains to the north lies a crevasse where mans force themselves through all day.
It's all you can eat, Gorp. All you can eat, I yell.
All you can eat.
That way, and he points to where you pointing.
Yes, that way.
Aren't we going there?
We must return to town, but you will feast on the juices and meats of many men.
I go by myself now.
No. No, we send with you a friend that you can talk to us with. Nash, I think he's kind of lonely. Do you have like a figurine or an illusion you could send with him?
No, but I have a dagger.
Lizard? Excuse me. How many mans are there in that crevasse?
Trucks full, daily, back and forth.
Trucks.
Yes.
You mean
Cars.
vroom vroom?
Vroom vrooms, yes.
Okay. Let's go. We'll go eat mans.
Yes. If you talk to this magical dagger, we can hear you on the other side.
He's yelling this, reaching out. I put it in the palm of the lizard.
Deception check from both of you, please.
All right.
Okay.
Knew this was coming.
Okay.
Natural 20.
14.
Wait.
Magic dagger. I can speak to it. How does it work?
Magic.
No, I know magic, how magic works. I made magic. I mean, how do I make it work?
You
talk to it.
Yeah, you hold it in your hand, your massive hand, and you speak to it.
He goes to take the dagger, the magic dagger from you.
Yeah.
And he puts it in the palm of his hand. And he goes, "Hello."
I could hear it.
So could I.
I could hear it.
It's working.
What?
It works. Over great distances, we will hear you. If you need to talk to us, you can't hear us, but we'll hear you and know if you need help. I'm not sure about this.
Yeah, so here's the deal. You'll speak into it, and we'll hear you, but you won't hear us. It's one-way communication. Does that make sense, Gorp? But that way we're always with you, so you could say, "These mans are very tasty," and we'll hear you and go, "Ah, that's great for our friend Gorp," but we won't be able to reply. We'll only hear what you say. Like the radios of ancient times.
Okay, but why are you leaving? Why do I need this? I think you're leaving. Are you tricking me?
Go. As you must eat mans, so too must we farm our own foods in the conversation of others.
Persuasion check, please.
Just Kyle?
3.
That's a strong argument.
But I can get us food if you let me kill mans. I make food for my friends and me.
We can't eat our own kind. Gorp.
Really?
It does.
Why not?
Well, I was told as a boy. Never mind. That's having sex with your sister. Let me think of a different one here.
What's sex?
We don't believe in eating our own kind. It's bad. It's not good to eat your own kind. Would you eat another ogre or another cyclops?
I ate my mamu after she passed away.
Well, then forget it. Never mind.
Life, Mr. Nash, life is hard. And there isn't a lot of food in the desert and in the mountains. We all have to do what we have to do. My mamu told me that.
Gross. Okay, listen, here's the deal. The lizard speaks true. It's an unending supply of mans coming through that mountain and going back through. You'll never
unending.
You'll never want for food again. Gorp.
It sounds like a paradise. Is it a paradise?
I look over at Varel, shaking my head yes.
Yes.
You better not be tricking me. If I go there and it's not a paradise full of mans, I will be angry with you, and Nash.
You will eat so many mans that by the time you're done, you'll be sick of eating mans. That's how much mans there is.
All right, persuasion roll, please.
Shit.
Or deception. That's deception.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
That's clearly you have no idea what's over there.
Perception is one, so 20. Not natural.
Okay, but why won't you come with me?
Well, I think Varel explained it to you.
Right, but I don't understand.
We have to go find our own version of mans. We have to go cultivate our own food. Because we
right,
can't...
and so when I've eaten enough mans, I'm going to talk into my magical dagger and say, I'm coming back. And can I hear you? Will you talk to me?
No, but we'll hear you and we'll know you're coming back. See how nice that is? And we'll be ready for your return.
Well, okay then. I guess this is where we part ways. Because I'm hungry. I'm going to eat mans. And he gets up and he immediately starts to sort of take off without any sort of regard for ceremony or departure or saying goodbye. He just sort of had enough conversation. You just hear the loud echoing steps. And you see him rushing off, walking at a hurried pace.
Hunt well, Gorp.
To the mountain range you've pointed him to, that you don't really know what's there, except for maybe what you saw on the map. So,
all right. So off Gorp goes.
Soon enough, within the next 5 or 10 minutes, you wait, and he's far off in the distance, hasn't looked back, and is trucking along towards the mountain range. Now, Vorel, what we talked about yesterday, there's still not yesterday, last week. There's still that presence in the air of it, and as you get out into the desert, it's a little more pronounced to your hearing.
Can I hear what direction it's coming from?
You could be able to come up with a location for it.
Would that be perception?
Yeah. We could use a perception check.
All right, 18.
Okay. So, you can actually, it's to the east of town. Sorry, my pen fell. I didn't want it to.
That is good. That is not north.
I made a face and I wanted to explain it. It's to the east of town, approaching the mountain range. So while Orp has gone somewhat north.
I keep calling him Gorp. I gotta stop. Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. Ahead, you can call him whatever you want. He doesn't really notice. Yeah. It sounds like this is to the east.
Nash? I fear things are growing even more complicated.
What are you feeling exactly?
Good question.
I can tell you're preoccupied.
It is a calling. There's a summoning. The lizard folk are gathering.
Oh.
And they may be heading this way.
Are they all?
If it is
are they all as
hunting party. Are
they as amenable as you, or are they,
amenable?
How would they react to seeing me? I don't want to cause any trouble with your people.
That depends. This is a general call for all to gather for whatever the execution may be after it. That could be a raid on Slave Town. It could be a great mating. Perhaps they found a dragon to worship. I'm not sure. I've been away from my people for a long time, and they may not be of my kin. Other lizards from other lands.
All right. Well, what does this portend? Is this trouble? Are you worried?
Could be. I fear we are on a time limit, both on Orp's part and my brother's part.
How much time do we have?
Orp will likely discover that the dagger doesn't work by morning, I would assume. If the trade route is not as busy as I would hope, we may see him within 2 days. The lizards march along parallel to Slave Town for now, but they may also come in We seem to have murdered, too, a man who was planning to work towards our benefit. But he also made spikes come out of dead people's eyeballs, so I'm a bit mixed on that fact.
6s. Yeah. Well, this is all a lot of math for me. How... once Gorp figures out that the food's dried up or that he's not getting what he wants out of the dagger, how long between then and him getting back and seeking us do you think that is? I mean, his strides are far. If he runs, that's perhaps, I don't know. He could travel in a day what take you and I 10 days. I don't know.
Then perhaps we should return to town and set our own plans in motion before our hand is forced by an ogre.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's murder him next time.
Yeah. Well, that has proven. I think that's hard. I don't know that you and I have all we need to take him down.
No, but I do slightly regret the complicated world we've invented around ourselves.
Well, we've overdone it, perhaps. Perhaps we've planned too far ahead, but I still think we've got enough window here. I can't speak to your lizard brethren. I don't know what they're doing, and they could really jack this up, but I'll stay close to you if we encounter them. Make sure they know that I'm a friend, and let's make sure that we get back in town in time enough to set things in motion before all this comes crashing down.
Do you feel well enough to run?
Yes.
Then let us run back to town.
I'm down. Let's do it. Full on sprint.
As you begin running, you notice something. Varel captures the corner of your eye. You see a figure on the horizon to your left. It is a immediately familiar form of a lizard folk. Nash doesn't see this.
I will slow my
see
run
it in the distance. It's a singular lizard folk.
Nash, I'm afraid they've come for me already.
Oh no. So what do we do?
I fear I should address them and make sure that our plans are not ruined by a lizard raid. Or perhaps I will invite the lizard raid, in fact, in hopes that we can free the slaves. Either way, prolonging this engagement will only make things worse, and you should return to town alone.
I don't know if I'm comfortable leaving you here.
I'll be with my own people, and they will ritualistically murder me if they do not like it. And you have no fears, my soul will be trapped behind the stars. I will not haunt you.
I also feel better not being alone myself, but I'll do this. Because I don't know what other choice we have. I've got to get to the other two before the Cyclops comes back, before Orp makes his way back. So, all right, we'll part ways. Fist bump.
Run swift, Nash!
Like the wind, and I take off. And now I'm running toward town.
All right, you run towards town. Varel, the lizard folk that you spotted well off into the distance, having the keen sense that it knows it's made itself seen, because lizard folk are pretty good at not being seen when they want to. So you're aware that this is a deliberate action. You see the figure walk away, turn around and walk away in a direction. Cool.
I will keep
in the
pace
direction it came.
and follow.
Yes. East to the mountain range. All right. So while this happens, we catch up with Hope and Stanley, who are running back towards Slavetown.
I mean,
I would imagine walking.
Yeah, I don't see any reason.
It's casual.
to
It's
do that.
casual pace. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're walking back towards Slavetown. Now you've spent a couple hours out in the desert because waiting for Orp to wake up. So you've been out of town for a little bit. As you approach Slavetown, it's not necessarily a hustle and bustle kind of place, but there is activity during the day. There are people to be seen, slaves to be traded, things going on. But you notice as you approach the town that it's very quiet. You don't hear the sounds of hammering. I mean, certainly on your way in, it's the parking lot and the Owens. and those are not. There's no sounds of industry coming from either of these places, but there's something quiet, eerily quiet about the town as you approach it.
Hope the town seems a bit strange, wouldn't you say?
I'd say something feels off about it.
I mean, you were aware that there was evacuation, in the morning as you left, but
Where do you think they go?
That's a good question. I wonder who has decided to stay exactly. When I went to get food from the hotel, nobody was there. I just helped myself. I wonder if that's going to be the case all over, or if... Are we in a ghost town at the moment?
Maybe. You think we should hit up the shops? Or just go straight to the library?
I mean, wouldn't hurt to take a peek in a couple places if there was anything you felt you wanted to look into.
Well, I probably should talk to Owen's wife
Oh,
at some point.
that's right.
You're welcome to come, but I understand if you would like to hold back. Probably won't be easy.
I mean, if you would like support, I could certainly go with you, though I didn't know them very well.
All right, well, let's go. Feel free to hang back as far as you want. And I'll walk into Owen's garage.
Okay. So you approach the garage. There's a few doors open, cars in various states of disrepair. There's an office at the end. That's when you realize that they didn't live in this building.
Oh.
So you sort of go in and look around, but you think you remember him mentioning at one point that that they lived on just behind the place on Fingal's Row.
Okay, I'll start heading that direction. Like, I think she might be at their house.
All right.
Okay, so you make your way down Heaven Street a little bit, and you're turning left on the Toyota Road or right on Fingal's?
Let's just go down Fingal's.
Okay, so you approach the stables and the coffins through first place, and the seamstress house. Everything is closed up. Again, it's quiet. You don't see a soul walking in this direction. You turn left. The sheriff's office, also the doors are ajar in the sheriff's office. Nothing happening in there. You turn left on Fangle Row, and we'll begin walking down. You go a few rows in all the way to the end, where you see a house on the corner, and you're pretty sure that's the place.
I'll take a deep breath and I'll walk up and knock on the door.
All right, you knock on the door, and there's no response, and you don't hear any movement inside the house.
I'll try the door handle.
Door handle opens. As the door opens, you peer inside and see, that there's a table with chairs, kind of a modest-looking home with very few items and decoration. There's to the left, you see there's like not a buffet, but like a table, and it's got a few like paintings of a young woman and like just some jewelry on it, and it sort of looks like a memorial to someone, maybe. It's a natural part of the house. Like maybe you didn't see them all this time with anyone other than themselves, the two of them, Randall Owen and his wife, Mrs. Owen. You never got her name. So you peer in, but you haven't entered. This is what you see.
All right, I'll call out. Hello, Mrs. Owen?
You give it a moment, but you hear nothing in response.
Stanley, I don't hear anything. Should we take a look, or would you like to continue?
I mean, I don't know. Do you think there's a chance that she's in danger? Should we go in there? Or, I mean, we could always return at another time.
I don't know. I guess a quick peek won't hurt. And I'll walk in slowly, looking around.
You walk in slowly, and you see that The place is in good shape. It looks well cleaned and tended. There is the area described with the sort of memorial for some young woman. There's table. There's sort of table plates and forks and knives set out on the table, but no food there. And as you peer into the kitchen, you see just some items look like they're been brought out to be prepped for cooking. But nothing, no elements are on. Nothing looks like they were in the middle of being used. It's quiet. You don't hear, apart from your movement in the house, you don't hear any presence of anyone else in there. There's a set of stairs leading to a second floor.
All right, I'll go up the stairs.
All right, you move up the set of stairs. Are you doing it quietly or just kind of like...
Cautiously, because if someone does come out, I don't want it to look like I'm there to steal anything.
Okay, so you make your way up the stairs, but enough so that someone would hear you coming so you wouldn't surprise them. And as you get up to the top, there's like a little banister, and a banister always pays his debts. And as you see a dollar bill on a nail.
Tape a gold coin.
I saw this somewhere before.
Gosh, I can't imagine where you saw that. That's crazy.
And you get up to the top of the second floor, and there's a hallway, and you see there's 3 doors in this hallway, and they're all ajar, but you can't see into the rooms from where you are.
All right, I'll go to the first door, tap, knock on it. If I don't hear anything, I'll push it open.
Sure. You open the first door, and there's this bedroom, and the walls are painted like a pink color, and there's a nice well-made bed, and there's all kinds of like dolls in this room, and as well as like a couple of what looks like study books, like how to read, and a mathematics book, and a little desk and table. And the thing that screams out to you about this room is that it's been undisturbed, like it's like a museum room, like it's full of something probably a young woman would own, but like in this desert world, right? So it's just like it's dolls, there's books, there's looks like a dresser and a bed, and the place looks undisturbed, and it's sort of got a light pink sort of paint on the wall.
I'll move on to the second and do the same thing.
Okay, the second looks you open it up, and it just looks more like it's being used as a storage room, like some sort of it's got some clothing in there, and it has like a something to like a wash bin and a wash. What do they call those things that like comic books,
washboard?
Or not comic books, but like washboard. It's got a washboard. I was thinking of Donald Duck. I think he got his face stuck on a washboard at one point. There's a washboard in there, and there's just looks like this room is used to maintain clothing for the most part.
Cool.
There's
and I'll
clothes hanging up off the ceiling from the ceiling.
Go to the third one.
Okay, and the third one, the door is more closed than the rest, and clearly it's the master bedroom from the top floor, and you push it open, and you see what looks to be sort of a normal, it's a bed, there's a dresser on either side, there's a night table, but what captures your attention is on the bed there's the form of a body on there. Now it's under blankets, but you see the familiar stain of red sort of soaked in to the blanket.
Oh, look at you, Stanley. And I'll look back at the body.
Is it her?
I guess, let's see. And I'll walk over and gently pull the blanket back.
Okay, you begin to pull the blanket back. Hold your breath. Yeah. And you see starting to decompose, starting to bloat corpse, starting to become blue, forehead and hair, and then where you expect to see eyes, you don't find any eyes.
Oh.
And the you pull the face, and you've kind of got enough information, although you continue pulling if you want to pull it all off. But
we're pulling it all off.
And you pull it all off, and you see sort of the corpse in a nightgown. And again, the telltale signs, the fingers and toes are cut off from the corpse, and the corpse is, it's in an early state of decomposition, but you know that process begins fast. So that's why there's like there's a smell to the room now that you've lifted the blanket, but it hasn't filled the room and created anything. No slits on this corpse. You remember the last time you dealt with a corpse? There doesn't appear to be any cuts on the corpse. From what you can tell, you see a cut along the neck where the throat's been opened up and she's been bled out.
Well, shall we get to the library then?
This Thailander fellow, how many people in this town has he killed?
Was it just him?
That's a good question. He's certainly getting all over the place, and why would he take one and not the other?
Is this in every house here?
Well, maybe we will find more information in his library. Maybe we should start making our way back there.
Okay. All right, so you exit the house, leaving it undisturbed, and make your way back down Fangool Row. Now, next to when you exit back onto Heaven Street, you remember you're close to, what is this store? Tobacco and Spirits. There's a tobacco and spirit shop on the left. It looks closed up. You walk a bit down Heaven Street, make your way past Boom Bottoms Ballistics and Explosives, and the familiar Wild Tongues Pleasure House.
Pope, I feel like I should try and see if Talia's okay. The town looks evacuated, but I don't know. I haven't seen her since they took her.
Of course.
I'm gonna go into the Buxom Confederate.
And I'll follow
Okay.
behind.
All right, so you guys make your way down to the center of town. It's deathly quiet. You see the Sapphire across the street with the lizard-shaped hole in the front entrance. And you look to the right and enter the Buxom Confederate, pushing open the saloon doors. Inside, you see no one. The places appear to be closed down. All the cupboards on the bar are closed and locked with little padlocks. There's no one inside that you could see in the main, saloon area.
I'm gonna start making my way towards the side where it connects to Wild Tongues, where I've gone with Talia before.
Okay.
Just see what I can see on my way there.
Mm-hmm. So as you make your way down, you hear a psst, psst, psst coming from Celibus's office. Psst. Right. Then you see Celibus. He's peered up from his office. He's like motioning for you guys to come over.
Well, of course you'd be here. Start walking towards him.
All right, he opens up his office door. Are you going in, Stanley? Hope, are you going in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Stanley through this.
All right, it's like, come on in. Get down. Just get down.
Why are we getting down? There's nothing out there.
It's dangerous to be out here right now. All I know is there's a giant running around the town. There's a big. You must have seen it. It's a big giant in the town.
Yeah, we dealt with it.
What?
Rips off Celibus's face. Back in town.
What?
Surprise, it was me. It was me all along.
You dealt with it? How'd you do that? What do you mean? How'd you deal with a giant? The town's been evacuated.
Where's Talia?
I sent her off with the rest of them. We evacuated the town.
Where did
We sent them off to the salivating fields.
And you decided to remain here?
Well, someone's got to keep an eye on my property. Can't let that snake, the jeweler, steal anything from me. I'm staying here. I'm gonna fight for my place.
Well, all right. Good to see you in good health.
How was that jeweler, by the way? Did you take care of what we discussed?
Well,
Did you find out anything?
I think we are in his good graces, and we are investigating for the deed as we speak. We have leads, and we're following up on them.
That's That's too bad. I was kind of hoping in all this maybe he got crushed. Something? You hear anything?
He has not been crushed.
The Lactid cartel, they didn't finish him off. It hasn't been seen for a few days now.
How did you know the Lactic Cartel was going after the jeweler?
I told him.
Oh, now. To be fair, I'd find out everything anyways. It's okay. It's okay. You don't give her a hard time now, Stanley.
I haven't said a word, Stump. You seem awfully defensive. Why, it's almost like when someone threatens someone you care about, you get a little defensive. Maybe I can relate to you.
Batalia's safe.
Till she
That's
comes
right.
back here and is right back in this snake's employee.
Eric took him out on a truck, took all the girls and Wild Tongue, and took them to the salivating fields to ride this thing out. We've got a place there. They'll be safe. All the people under my employ are okay.
How long until they're brought back?
I guess until we give the all clear. Where's the giant? I've just been sitting in here, riding out the storm. I mean, I've been trying to get a sense of what's going on out there. You're the first people I came across. So, was it safe? You made them go away?
I wouldn't say it's safe. I'd say you should probably lay low for a little while longer.
All right. You guys going to lay low here?
No,
With me?
we have other business to attend to.
All right. Well,
There's been some grisly murders around the town. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
no. I don't murder people. I deal in pleasure and entertainments.
I would like to do an insight check on Mr. Stump.
Okay, go for
See
it.
if I bought that reaction. I think I did. It's 5.
Yeah, I mean, you don't learn anything you don't already know or feel.
All right.
He's a smooth operator. That's what you learned. You've gained a point of respect for him.
Well, if you have no idea about it, then maybe you're not as well informed about the goings on in this town as you thought.
I guess not. Looks like they pulled one over me this time. With these murderers, you're saying? What kind of murders? Like there's murders everywhere in this town. How many people have died since you got here? I mean, you guys are murderers. And no offense.
We're capable self-defense people.
Right. Me too.
But have you ever heard of the name Tylander Sullivan?
He hesitates for a moment. No.
Well, your mouth says no, but your hesitation and looking around says yes. What do you know?
I wasn't hesitating. I thought maybe I sounded familiar, and I wanted to tell you guys, but I thought about it, and I think I don't know who that is.
People in your town are dying, being brutally murdered. There's a Cyclops on the rampage, and right now we're trying to do our best to stop it. Any information you have would be extremely beneficial.
I mean, pardon me. I don't mean to be difficult, but I'm entrusted with certain information, and I'm entrusted not to tell certain information. You understand, right? I just don't know where I fall on this one.
Thailand is dead. Syllabus. He can tell us anything, please.
Persuasion, please.
Ah. Any bonuses?
Get your persuasion bonus.
An 8.
Don't you have inspiration right now as well?
I don't think so.
Thought everybody but me got it after last week, but I could be thinking of something else.
He stops and he looks and he says, Thailander's dead.
I killed him.
Well, did you tell the Kuromukishi what you did?
They know.
That's good for you. Because that's someone they've wanted dead. That's okay. I'm gonna come clean. I know who that is. He's some kind of a slave vigilante. He had his family killed while working in the salivating fields. He used to be a prominent member here back when this place was called Pristine, and then they made them slaves because he spoke out against the principal. And there's no fighting the power of the principal. You either join or you die. And he went to be a slave. Eventually, his family, as far as I heard, they died in the fields, and then he escaped and was not really seen from again. But the Kuromokishi kept asking about him, like maybe he was up to something. I mean, I don't know what he did. I just know he was wanted. So he was right here in town this whole time?
As a matter of fact, he was. Seems his goals to end slavery here pushed him towards being a bit of a magic user and creating all manner of abominations.
Like what?
Big, nasty, undead creatures with spikes coming out of their eyes.
You mean like zombies?
Well, it sounds silly when you say it.
Demon summoning, that was part of it. Scooping eyeballs out, cutting fingertips off.
There's no such thing as zombies. Come on now. That's like, what? Thailander making zombies? Okay. That sounds crazy. Is that for real?
You're hiding in your office from a giant 60-foot tall one-eyed creature, and zombies are where you draw the line.
Giants are real. That I know. That you don't go wandering off into the mountains for that reason, because the giants live there.
Well, I'm not here to buy your...
So do you know why the giant came here? Why is he here? That I don't know. I'd like to know what his business was in town.
Part of the magic ritual that Thailander was using required a component he stole from the Cyclops.
Oh.
Cyclops was looking for it.
To make zombies?
I don't know what the purpose was. We're on our way to go figure out that exactly.
Where does Thailander live right now?
Lives in a house over by Thorn Row.
Are you going there now?
That's right.
All right. Well, don't let me keep you then.
All right, you lay low and take care of yourself till all this blows over.
All right. Well, see you later, Stanley. Hope.
Silly.
You don't need to go to Thailander's house, right?
I need to go do this.
You sure?
Oh, I'm sure.
It's just kind of since the town evacuated, there isn't much to do. I thought maybe we could.
Maybe
we could have a drink.
Maybe later.
What
All right.
furniture is in his office right now?
What furniture is in his office?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a desk and an ornate chair, and then chairs on the other side for people to sit in, and then there's a couch.
All right. I'm going to use prestidigitation to make smoke start coming out of the couch. And I'm going to just say, Celavus, your chair's on fire, and turn around and walk out of the room.
Okay. Okay. Roll deception, please.
And the chair.
Deception, that's a 23.
Okay. And what are the components required for prestidigitation? Is it just mimetic, or are there verbals?
Let me look. It's both.
Okay. So you got to think. I know that you want to do sneaky, tricksy things. We got to think about that when you're trying to do the spells that you very obviously made the smoke appear. You went Arugare, and then like your chair's on fire, and he just looks, and he's like, he still pats it anyways.
But he doesn't know that I didn't light it on fire.
Yeah. So the
It's fair.
so he does, have to pat down And you see, as you walk out, he starts frantically patting just to make sure there isn't an actual fire, because you might have cast a magical fire or not. So
Sure.
it's like, Stanley Billings, you rogue. And you hear that from the I like you. And Hope, I imagine you're walking out too.
I'll nod at Celovus.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Celovus is extra sad to be seeing you leave. That you can feel it. All right, so you exit out back onto the street into town. The town again continues to be deathly quiet.
Well, I hope most people made it out.
I hope so too, though I'm sitting here wondering, in a big evacuation like this, I would think they would want to protect their slaves, but I'm also curious if they would try to preserve themselves over other people. I'm wondering if it would be worth looking to see if any of the Dust Hill slaves got left behind.
We could do that.
Okay, so you want to go to the slave pen?
Yeah.
All right, so you make your way down Hell Street and hang a right behind the Bucks. Oh no, wait, never mind. You make your way down Heaven Street, hang a left on Lights Row, move past the seamstress's house and the Kishi house, which is this nice sort of windowless but very nice looking longhouse, made from strange wood. It doesn't appear to have any doors on it, which is an interesting feature. You move past it to a cement building with a flat roof. It's just made, it looks makeshift cement on it. You recall it from a place you stayed when you first got into town. You don't hear it's windowed with bars on it, but you don't hear any noise coming from the inside. You get to the front entrance, and the door is a large steel door. It's shut, has a slit in it that you can pull open and close from the inside. It's like rusty brown color.
So it's just bars over it. So if I were to yell and someone were inside, they would hear it, right?
In the window, yeah, but the windows are rather a little high up.
Oh, Stanley, want to get on my shoulders?
Sure.
All right.
All right, so acrobatics check.
Oh, maybe not. 15.
21.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so you guys are able to you get on top of Hope's shoulder, Stanley, and then now you're about, I guess, because you're both 6 feet-ish, 6-ish feet, so you got about 12 feet of height. Well, not 12 because it's legs, so let's say 9, and you're able to peer in, Stanley, and see the inside. It's dark in there. You don't see anyone.
All right, coming down. There's nobody in there.
Well, that's a shame.
It was worth a shot, but maybe we'll just go ahead and stick to the original plan and get to this library.
Sounds good.
All right, so you make your way down through. There's an alleyway behind the Buxom Confederates between this and the bunkhouse, and you make your way out onto Hell Street. And again, it's just there's a little breeze on the hot desert air flowing through the street, but it's just unnervingly quiet. And you make a right on Hell Street, head down Brake Road. The houses appear again. You don't see movement, you don't hear movement, but something stops your attention at Thorn Row. You turn right and you see the house. You see what is supposed to be the house of Thailander. You see a pile of rubble, of wood and of glass and just detritus all in this pile. But that's not what gets your attention. What gets your attention is there's sort of looks to be a very small crater in the middle of the field in the intersection of Brake and Thorn Road. And you see the corpses of 8 Toyota Host people just lying in the streets. And in the center of the crater around them, the small crater, it's about only a foot deep, just looks like a blast zone though. Something exploded here. You see an arm.
Does it have its fingertips?
It does.
Is it made of chrome?
It is not made of chrome.
It's a human arm, yeah?
Looks like a humanoid arm lying in the center of a circle of 8 dead Toyota host. And Toyota host people appear to be like their bodies, like their hands, and they have their fingers and eyes too. They're not mutilated, but they're like scrunched up with a face of frozen horror on their faces as they're just lying there. Just these weird expressions of like terror, that they died in a moment of terror on their face.
Is there any way to tell what sort of injuries hit them? Were they burned? Were they cut?
You can approach a corpse and examine it if you want to find cause of death.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So you get closer to the nearest corpse, and you see that that there's a big stab wound in the front, puncturing the armor, and but it has that look, a sort of a natural look of frozen terror, but it has a large wound, and whatever wounded it is not in the corpse at this time.
All right, I'll examine the next one.
Okay, same thing. Different looking dude, but
So
puncture
all
in
of
the
them?
abdomen area. Yeah, they all appear to have received some sort of piercing wound in the chest, and that they're frozen in horror.
Do you have any idea what would have happened here, Hope?
Maybe whoever owned the arm exploded?
That's what I thought initially as well, but then what stabbed all of these people?
I don't know.
As you
To the library?
As you examine closer, one of the things you do see that's familiar, there's a few things you see that's familiar. One is Hope, when you were searching Tylander's corpse yesterday, 2 gentlemen with a box came and loaded up Tylander's corpse and took them off. They are among the 8 corpses that are dead. And you also see the box, you see the box leaning up against a house. Doesn't have Tylander's corpse in it.
God damn it. God damn it.
I love Hope so much.
What's wrong?
Tylander might not be dead.
I was under the impression you had been pretty thorough with that.
We killed him. And this was the box his corpse was in.
Well, that is exceptionally unnerving.
Well done.
I don't know if I want to go sneaking off into his library at this point, but we could. Where was it exactly that when Vorel bursted through the ground? Where was that? Because we're at the house right now.
Oh, it's in the house. It's amongst the rubble. It's amongst the rubble.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, I'm giving Hope inspiration for that line. It was
All right.
delivered perfectly.
Thank you.
Now, Stanley. Now, John, you're the only one to never get inspiration. Sorry. Continue on.
It's fine. Well, this turned into a bit of a bust. And we have no idea where he'd be going.
No. I say we still go down to the library. It's the only thing we have right now. I don't know how he lived.
He's a particularly tricky magic user. He's proven quite adept at basically everything except fighting you two. I mean, we can see what we can find in order to get down there. I'd still be willing to go.
Yeah, as you guys are having this conversation, you hear the sound of something thudding the dirt.
Oh, and fall.
And then you look, but you see nothing move.
Thudding?
Yeah, you hear like as if somebody punched the dirt. The ground. And you swear you see movement out of the corner of your eye, but when you look, you see nothing.
I'm gonna perception the ground to see if I can see an indent.
Okay, perception. Roll a perception roll, please.
12.
You don't see a hole in the ground, but you think maybe the arm wasn't in the position you remembered seeing it in.
I'm gonna watch the arm.
Okay.
I'm gonna,
With any intent? Is there any skill associated with this watching?
To see if I'd see it move.
Okay. For how long?
I'm just gonna stare at it. Like, Stanley, I think I saw it move.
no,
Is he still alive?
I'm gonna
Is that arm his and he's still alive?
I'm gonna draw my rapier and stab the arm.
Okay. Make an attack roll, please.
That is 17.
Okay. You approach the center of this crater area. And you approach it, you didn't specify cautiously, so it's not cautiously. You're walking with some purpose to the center. And you go to take your rapier and stab it. And as you go to stab it, the thing springs to life and snaps into it, and sort of its tension pops it into the air, and it fires straight at your neck and grabs hold of your neck, Stanley, and begins choking the life out of you. You take 4 points of damage as it's
This is the
filthy
second
nails
time this has happened to me.
Stanley, when did this happen before?
sinks into your neck, and you've got this. There's sort of it's dried on the end, so it's not bleeding, but you see a piece of bone, severed and like flesh dangling from it. The thing is alive, and it's strangling you immediately. You can see white in your eyes as you begin to lose, lose the ability to see. Very painful. Hope you see this happening.
I'm gonna run over and see if I can get my hands on its fingers.
Okay, so you attempt to peel it off of you,
Yeah.
essentially. Okay, roll a strength check, please.
20, not natural.
Wow, that's a good roll. So you go to peel off one of its fingers. You take which finger is it that you're focusing on?
The thumb. I'm going for the thumb, and if I break it, I break it.
Okay, so you pull it right off, and the thumb, like the bone snaps, and you've got a thumb in your hand. It's still pressed into his neck so hard with the palm and the fingers. You can see in Stanley's neck, like it's like seconds away from puncturing the muscle in his neck. Stanley, what do you do?
I'm going to drop my rapier from my hand and go, parlay.
Wait. Oh, that's a magic word for your sword.
Yes, it is.
Nice.
You drop the sword from your hand and say parlay, and the sword starts to float into the
I
air.
don't think you can talk to it, Stanley.
And then send the sword right into the arm.
Okay. And how exactly?
Well,
You have some control over it, right?
yeah,
You command it.
yeah. I'd be.
You can stab the arm, but are you stabbing it from the back, or
Is it floating or is it laying against me, choking me?
it's floating?
Then up through it.
Okay.
Like the blade aims up, shoots straight up. Hopefully, momentum.
And
and all
stops at your neck, basically.
that. Yeah.
Okay, roll an attack roll.
That is another 17.
Okay, and roll your damage dice.
Eight.
Okay, so the sword flips around and then slides right into the end, piercing bone, and you just see it sort of expand as it makes room for the blade to sink in to the arm, and then it comes up to the end. It doesn't release its grip on you, but the tension is certainly somewhat released. But it's whatever's powering the arm is fueled by a magical energy and not just physical muscle. It still has its grip on you.
Well,
even
that's
though you've done
my.
damage to it.
That would be technically a bonus action. So with my
Okay.
action, I'm going to try to reach up with both hands and pull it off of me.
Okay, so that's a grapple. You're going to use strength to disengage from a grapple, essentially?
I mean, I don't know the rule on a floating arm. If I can use dexterity, it'd be dexterity, but if it has to be strength, I'll use
I
strength.
think it has to be strength because it has grip on you. There's no way to slide out of this one.
Okay. That's a 5.
You're unable to remove its grip, and indeed it continues to have its grip on you and sink its nails its dirty like nails into you. Continues doing damage. You take 4 more points of damage, and it's squeezing the life out of you slowly. How much HP do you have? I mean, this is like 4 HP. I'm you're on death's door. I still have 100 HP left.
I'm at 13 hit points right now.
Okay. All right. Well, you feel it's working. Whatever it's doing, it's you need a
it's
solution
working.
to this problem, and because it's causing you a lot of pain. Hope, it's your turn.
Oh,
All right,
I
I'm
would
gonna
very
go to-
much like this off my throat, please.
I'm trying, Stanley. I'm trying. I'm gonna go and grab the arm and try and pull up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna try and pull its fingers off again. Is that what you
Just the arm, pull it up.
mean? Up. Okay. All right. Roll an attack roll.
Alrighty. Strength would be a 22.
Okay. Oh, so you roll a strength check.
Yeah, kind of like a grapple to pull it up.
Okay. So you manage to put it in. So you go to pull it. You use both your hands. You also put a foot on Stanley. As
Sorry,
you
Stanley.
gotta pull him off. You successfully are able to pull it off, but there's a big impact. You fall prone on your back as you pull it off, and it tears Stanley's flesh from his neck,
Sorry.
causing a further 6 points of damage as he also falls prone and has giant gashes from where the fingers have pulled it off from him.
Can I now
And you
wrap my arms and legs around it to keep it?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's say you do that. So you now have you're now grappling this arm, and it is putting its fingers in the 4 fingers it has left in your face. It's trying to grab onto your face as you try to pin it down onto the ground. Stanley, you're lying face up in the ground, and your neck is on fire. Your turn.
I'm going to get up and bring the rapier back to my hand,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to go over and try to help Hope wrestle it to the ground.
Yeah.
The plan is to get it out away from her so I can strike down and like pin it to the ground. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
I don't know how long that would take to do.
The plan is to pin it to the ground.
Yeah, like wrestle it away from her. So if I stabbed it with a sword, it would be going
Like a
into
skewer
her.
it
Yeah,
into the ground.
skewer it
Okay.
in-
Attack roll, please.
That is a 8.
Okay, roll your damage dice. Oh no, sorry, it misses. An 8. you go to
I was
swing
like, ooh,
and try
this is easy to hit.
try to skewer it, and you just hit dirt, and it doesn't quite work. And you're being careful not to hurt Hope, obviously. So that's part of why your miscalculation happens. Hope, it's your turn.
All right. I'm gonna roll on top of it so that my body weight is holding it down now. So that should make it easier to keep grappled.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna scream him. Stanley, you got any fire?
Nope.
All right, so you're continuing to grapple. I should have probably given you advantage on that last roll, Stanley. So you can go ahead and make another attack now with the
All right.
advantage. Yeah, the arm's not going anywhere. Hope has it deadlocked, so go ahead and do that.
That's a 14
Okay, and where do you skewer it? By the palm or by the arm?
by the palm.
Okay, so you roll your damage dice, and you put the rapier into the hand and skewer it into the ground, and it just starts.
9.
Yeah, and it flops around a bit, and then falls limp.
Well, that was the worst thing since the last terrible door I opened.
Last one. What happened the last time?
It's
Are
a
you all
long
right?
story about a box. No, I don't feel very good, but I will in a minute, and I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds at level 2. Nope, I'm not. I'm out of spells. I'm not gonna do anything. Nope, I'm not good. Hope, I feel pretty bad.
All right. Well, you sit down. You take a rest.
Now, as you guys have finished the scuffle, you hear footsteps approaching.
I'll
down
look
the
up, but
road.
I've started pulling out my flint and my torch so I can light the torch and then light the arm on fire.
Are you gonna light a torch?
I've got a torch.
Okay, all right.
My adventure gear.
Are you, and Stanley, are you doing anything?
No, because until that arm stops moving, I'm not pulling my sword back out. So
Okay, so you sort of stand there waiting to see what's coming next as the footsteps approach. And with that, we'll go to a break and we'll find out what happens.
Oh, man. All right. Well, you heard the man. It's break time. We'll be back in about 10.
5 minutes.
5,
10.
5, 10 most.
We can do 10.
Yeah, it was something like that. So stay tuned. We're not going anywhere, and neither should you. I'm super into this story, so come on back and we'll do it together.